Hi, Assalamualaikum. Let me introduce myself first. My name is AMIRA NAJWA binti NAWAWI and my metric number is 822A0679. 1.0 Data Description. Data is a collection and a number of related observations. The interpretation of data refers to the explanation of the meaning data. A data of set is a collection of data is typically presented in the form of a table. Each column represents a specific variable. Each row corresponds to a question of a member data set. It lists as a random number for each variable, such as price and height. A value is called a data sheet. Corresponding to the number of rows, the data of the data set may include one or more members. In Statistic, the data set usually comes from the sample statistical population observed from actual observation, and each row corresponds to component of the observation. Some modern statistical analysis software, such as SPSS, help us to analyze the chosen data set. In the assignment, we provide a data set of price of each collected in different places comprising 160 observations. Based on the lowest magic numbers for our group members is 05. We choose 16 out of 160 cases. Our data set comes from secondary data source data. Our data set can be analyzed from the view. Two other fields is price and height. The number of classes in the price is 6 and height is 7. Firstly, for table 1, random 60 out of 160 cases of each. Secondly, table 2, random 60 out of 160 cases of each by price. And last but not least, table 3, random 60 out of 160 cases of each by height.
Assalamualaikum. My name is KHADIJAH ASYIQIN binti Muhammad ZULIKEFLI, matrix number A22A0805. Today, I would like to talk about sampling data and record categorical data. Firstly, we use SPSS to analyze the data. By using SPSS, data has been analyzed and recorded. There are 7 variables, which are price, place, weight, length 1, length 2, length 3, width and height. The 60 data has randomly chosen from 65 cases. The number of 65 cases is derived from the addition of the lowest matrix number of the group members, which is 05. In order to do the questions number 3, we chose 2 variables, which are price and height. We use SPSS to analyze the data. Select the video above. In SPSS, we can use transform, analyze, and graph. Are the data that we get after using the SPSS, which is statistic and descriptive statistics.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is SYAZA binti HALIM. My metric number A22A029. Okay, for this part, we need to find the numerical descriptive measure for this topic. It is divided into 3 parts, namely measure of center tendency, of position, and measure of variation. So, I will explain center tendency part. So, this is all the formula that we use, for which are formula of simple mean, median, and mode. So, for the first formula is mean. Formula means is total F X divided by N. The next formula is simple median, which is the lower class boundary of median class plus and divided by 2 minus cumulative frequency before meeting class multiply class. The last one is formula for simple mode, which is lower class boundary of the mode class plus 1 divided by different 1 plus different to multiply plus. Okay, first is a price. The mean of a price is 108.32. And for the median, we got 70.54, and the last one for price is mode, we got 49.19. The next is height. The means for height we got is 5.0275, and the median for the height is 7.3973, and the last one for height is a mode, we got 5.677.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is SITI RUMIZA binti YUSOF. My number A22A0879. Today I want to present about measure of position. Measure of position, also known as a measure of central tendency or location, a statistical measure that provides information about the central or typical value of a data set. There are three types of measure of position. First, quartiles. Second, deciles. Third, percentage. Quartiles. A quartile is one of 3 points that divide a data set into 4 equal groups. The first quartile, Q1, represents the 25 percentile. The second quartile, Q2, represents the median 50 percentile. And the third quartile, Q3, represents the 75 percentile. Second, deciles. Deciles divide the data set into 10. The first decile represents the 10 percentile. The second decile represents the 20 percentile, and so on. Deciles provide more detailed information about the distribution than quartiles. Third, percentage. Percentile divide a data set into 100. For example, the 25 percentile, also known as the first quartile, is the value below which 25% of the data falls. Similarly, the 50 percentile is the median, and the 75 percentile, third quartile, is the value below which 75% of data falls. Percentile provide information about how data distributed across the range. So there are two types of quartiles, ungroup data and group data. So we can see group data, LQ1 for lower class boundary, and divide by 4 location for the first quartile, 3 and divide by 4 location for the third quartile, F for cumulative frequency before quartile class, FQI frequency for quartile class, C for class width. This graph is about data price. So we have to find first quartile and third quartile. For first quartile, we have to find N first. So we get 60 divided by 4, 15. So we have to find LQI. So LQI is 81.65 divide and 60 divided by 4 minus 35 divide 11 multiple 80. So we get first quartile is 227.10. So third quartile is, we have to find N first. So N is 60. So 3 multiple 60 divided by 4, 45. So we have to find LQI. So we get 168.8965 plus 3 multiple 360 minus 48 divided by 8 multiple 80. So we get the quartile is 171.65. This graph is about height data. So we have to find first quartile. So we have to find N first. N divided by 4. So N is 60. Divided by 4 is 15. So we have to get LQI. First quartile 2.73332 plus 5 plus 60 divided by 4 minus 0 divided by 13 multiple 1.0048. So we get for first quartile is 3.8927 for first quartile. For third quartile, we have to find N first. So 3 multiple 60 divided by 4. So we get 45 So we have to find LQI. LQI is 4.7428 plus 3 multiple 60 minus 18 divide by 50 multiple 1.0048. So we get for the quartile is 6.5514.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is SUHAILAH binti SARWANI with matrix number A22A0582. We present about measures of variation. The measures of central tendency is some parameters that attempt to describe the amount of variation between random variables. The three parameters that are used commonly to quantify the amount of variation in a set of random variables are range, variance, and standard deviation. The formula for range is maximum data entry minus minimum data entry. The maximum data entry for the random variable of price is 481.20, while the minimum data entry is 1.7. So the answer after 481.20 minus 1.7 is 479.5. Therefore, the range of random variable of price is 479.5. Next, for the variance, we can see the table shows grouped data for the price of fish. To find the variance, we use the sample variance formula. Therefore, after the calculation, the sample variance for the price of the fish species across many nations is 22162.29. Then, we go to standard deviation. For the formula we can see in the slide. And after the solution we have done, the sample standard deviation for the price of the fish species across many nations is 148.87. The maximum data entry for the random variable of H is 7.7572, while the minimum data entry is 1.7284. So for the answer, we use range formula, which is maximum data entry minus minimum data entry. So we get the answer, range of random variable of H is 6.0288. Next, for the variance, we can see the table shows grouped data for the H. After using the formula, we get the answer for the sample variance for the H is 2.91233275914. Lastly, for the standard deviation for H, we use the formula in the slide and get the answer for the sample standard deviation for the H is 1.706555818.
My name is HASLIZA binti HASRI, matrix no A22A0164. As you can see on the screen, we provide two bars, which is a histogram and the bar chart. The histogram graph clarifies the price and the bar chart explains the heat. From the histogram, we can see that the graph is labeled the x-axis with midpoint, so the graph starts at the first class with the midpoint at 100.00, where the frequency is 16, and ends in the last class with the midpoint as 500.00, where the frequency is 1. Therefore, we can conclude that the highest price of fish are between 0.00 to 100.00 of midpoint because it is the highest frequency compared with other classes. From the bar chart, we can see that the graph is labeled on the x-axis with the heat, so that the graph starts at the heat of 1.02, where the frequency is 1.0, and ends in the last class with the heat at 6.9, where the frequency is 1.0, but the heat starts to increase at the heat of 2.2, 5.7, and 5.9, where the frequency remains 2.0. Therefore, we can conclude that the heat is changed until the last heat.
Assalamualaikum, my name is RAUDHAH binti MAMAT, matrix number A22A0370. I want to present about 5.1 numerical descriptive measure. First, about height. The mean of height is about 5.0275. Median. The median is 7.3973. The Mood is 5.6776. Price. The mean of price is 108.32. The median is 70.54. The mode for price is 49.19. From the histogram, we can see that the graph is labeled the x-axis with a 9 point, so that the graph starts at the first class with a mean point at 2.0, where the frequency is 4 and ends in the last class with a main point at 7.0, where our frequency is 2. Therefore, we can conclude that the highest height of fish is between 5.0 to 6.0 of main point because it is the highest frequency compared with other class. From the histogram, we can see that the graph is labeled the x-axis with main point, so that the graph starts at the first class with the main point at 100, where the frequency is 60, and ends in the last class with the main point at 500, where the frequency is 1. Therefore, we can conclude that the highest price of fish are between 0 to 100 of main point because it is the highest frequency compared with other class.
Next, we move on to hypothesis testing. We found that a value of critical value in ANAWA table is 142.223. So, we can conclude that 284.447 is more than 142.223, that there is a significant difference among the treatment's means. Among of them, correlation analysis is a statistical approach used to assess the relationship between two variables. The term correlation in statistics refers to the link between two variables. So, we provide a price and heat as a variable. As you can see on the screen, the SPSS graph shows that the price and heat become closer and they have a stronger relationship. The variables are said to have a positive correlation. So, since p-value 0.001 less than 0.05, we can conclude that there is a no correlation between price and heat. Next, confidence interval. Confidence interval is referring to evaluate the internal of statistic contain a population parameter. By using the SPSS, we collect the result of the 95% confidence interval for year lower boundaries is -9.331 and the upper boundaries is 6.740. The standard error for this dependent is 4.006. Besides that, it can be said that 95% confident that the population parameter is between -9.331 and 6.740.
Next is prediction modeling. Prediction modeling is a multiple linear regression that is common form of regression analysis. It allows to isolate the unique effect of one variable on the constant dependent variable while considering the other variables. So, every value of independent variable is potentially related to the dependent variable. Hence, the model is represented as y is equal to b0 plus b1x1 plus b1x2 plus error. Next, for the correlation, the R values between price group and high group are 0.613. Thus, it implies a strong positive correlation between the two variables. The values of R shows that there is a moderate positive correlation between price and high.
Assalamualaikum, my name is RAUDHAH binti MAMAT, matric number A22A0370. In conclusion, We may learn about description, data sampling, numerical descriptive measure, graphical representation, and statistic analysis using SPSS software from this statistic assignment. We only use 60 samples with 2 chosen variables, price and height of fish species across many nations. Out of the 116 observations provided in the data set charge of fish price caught in various areas. We can learn more about how to analyze and interpret this data using statistic calculations utilizing the data supplied using the SPSS software. We may contrast the information and calculation that were examined using the SPSS program with those that were calculated manually as we talk to do in class. Then sure compile, examine and interpret data into graph and outcomes with population inference. We can do through the calculation that this assignment can assist us in statistic data extraction for our business or company use and may enhance our usage abilities and understanding of business statistics.